Good evening, dear viewers. This is All 24 Nightly News, broadcasting live from Algiers. I'm your host, Karim Fazakri, and up next are the headlines. Algerian President Abdelmajid Tebboune reaffirms commitment to constitutional legitimacy in Niger and offers diplomatic solutions and mediation for crisis resolution. Chad declines military intervention as ECOWAS deadline looms. Libya commends neighboring efforts for legitimacy in Niger. And Washington puts partial freeze on aid to Niamey. UN initiates transfer of MINUSMA camps to Mali authorities and urges safe and orderly withdrawal of forces by year's end. Also ahead in our news, Russia intercepts American drone over Black Sea and Ukraine is on high alert nationwide as it targets Russian oil tanker, while Moscow pledges retaliation if civilian ship attacked. Hello again and thank you for joining us. First off, in our news, Algerian President Abdelmajid Tebboune led the National Army Day anniversary ceremony at the National Army Club in Beni Messous, Algiers. The event honored retired army personnel from the National Liberation Army, families of martyrs who died in the line of duty, and veterans injured in the fight against terrorism. Algerian Army Chief of Staff Army General Said Chengriha delivered a speech during the event, expressing gratitude to the Algerian people for their support. He emphasized the Army's success in thwarting various plots against the country and reiterated the leadership's commitment to further enhance and modernize the defense capabilities of the armed forces. Algerian President Abdelmajid Tebboune reiterated Algeria's commitment to restoring constitutional legitimacy in Niger during a recent meeting with representatives of Algerian media. He stressed the significance of diplomatic solutions in resolving the crisis and expressed Algeria's willingness to mediate and contribute constructively to a peaceful resolution in Niger.
الضحايا رحمهم الله الشهداء لأن مات في الحريق يعتبر شهيد مدني أو عسكري. إذا كان نشوف التجربة المرة اللي عشناها يعني الأمور تقلصت، وين كان روح واحدة تعتبر يعني كارثة، لكن المؤمن لا يلدغ من جحر مرتين. خذينا احتياطاتنا وتقلصت، وعوض ما يدوم الإطفاء لمدة أسابيع مثل المرة الأولى، السنة هذه 48 ساعة 72 ساعة في بعض الأماكن وتغلبنا على النيران. استلمنا طائرة كبرى كبيرة عملاقة بالنسبة للإطفاء، وشفنا مع دولة تشيلي لأن كذلك حتى الكراء ما لقيناش، كرينا 6 طائرات أخرى وكانت موجودة في قبل ما تندلع الحرائق، بالإضافة إلى تقوية العتاد نتاع الحماية المدنية وإعادة النظر في التنظيم اللي كان موجود.
On the same occasion, President Tebboune highlighted Algeria's swift success in controlling the recent fires, attributing it to the country's proactive plan. This plan involved acquiring a large-sized specialized aircraft and pre-leasing 6 additional aircrafts, enabling the effective management of the firefighting efforts.
المحللين الاقتصاديين والمنظرين كلهم ينتظروا أن القرن 21 تقوم فيه حروب على المياه. اليوم رانا التزويد تاع المياه مضمون إن شاء الله ضمن الله عز وجل، ولكن مضمون لمدة 15 سنة بالأقل بدون تذبذب. في ظرف قصير وصلنا احنا البلد الثالث في العالم العربي. احنا البلد الأول في إفريقيا، البلد الثالث في العالم العربي بعد العربية السعودية وبعد الإمارات.
And that was the president actually announcing Algeria's achievement, becoming the largest water-producing country in Africa through seawater desalination technology with a target of 1,400,000,000 cubic meters per day. He also unveiled an ambitious and historic plan to expand the country's railways with a Chinese partnership in the works, including the lifting of the freeze on several projects.
الشركة الوطنية نتاعنا لوضع السكة الحديدية راها بدأت تشتغل كما يلزم. هذا على هذا الأساس اللي اتصلنا بأصدقائنا الصينيين باش ندخل في برنامج طموح أكبر من هذا. أولا السكة الحديدية أنا التزمت بها، ترسخ الوحدة الوطنية، ترسخ الوحدة الترابية، تسمح لنا باش ندخل بالاستثمار في أعماق الجزائر. لما السكة تمشي من الجزائر لطمر راست في الطريق نتاعها توجد استغلال المناجم واستغلال كذا والتجارة وهذه، وتخلق حيوية أخرى وتزيد تفيد المواطن. تصبح لأول مرة في تاريخ الجزائر، حتى في التاريخ المعاصر كاع منذ قرون، أول مرة اللي السكة تجي من الجنوب الأضرار توات حتى العاصمة حتى الوهران.
Algerian Foreign Minister Mr. Ahmed Attaf reaffirmed the country's commitment to a political and diplomatic approach in the resolving of Niger crisis. During a call with Josep Borrell, the EU's High Representative for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Attaf warned against using force in Niger and its broader region. In a joint statement, both parties stressed the significance of applying political and diplomatic pressures to restore constitutional order in Niger and support the return of Mohamed Bazoum as the legitimate president. Chad's Defense Minister Dawood Yahya Ibrahim stated that his country will refrain from intervening in the ongoing coup in neighboring Niger. In an official television interview, a Chadian general confirmed on Friday evening that Chad would not be involved in any military operation against the coup in Niger. Meanwhile, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, announced a potential plan to reinstate ousted President Mohamed Bazoum to power in Niger.
La paix, la quiétude, Tchad. Et ils les défendront.
To Libya now, Libyan Presidential Council head Mohammed Al-Menfi urged collaborative efforts between Niger's neighboring countries and ECOWAS to establish constitutional legitimacy. He made this statement during a meeting with Babagana Kinyabi, Niger's special envoy, who presented a written message from President Paula Ahmed Tinubu, the current chairman of ECOWAS. In a released statement, Al-Menfi called for united efforts to prevent actions that could destabilize Niger and the region. Still with the same topic, ECOWAS announced a possible military intervention plan despite warnings from neighboring countries about the repercussions. The plan aims to return Mohamed Bazoum to power before the Sunday week deadline. However, past experiences with military interventions in the West African region have shown their failure to effectively resolve crises. Zara Farjani has the updates.
Addressing the growing security crisis in Niger, West Africa's regional bloc ECOWAS announced a plan for a possible military intervention. Previously, the bloc military chiefs had given the coup leaders in Niger a 7-day deadline, expiring Sunday, to stand down and reinstate the constitutionally elected government of President Mohamed Bazoum.
All the elements that would go into any eventual intervention have been worked out here and being refined. We are determined to stop it. But ECOWAS is not going to tell the coup plotters when and where we are going to strike. That is an operational decision that will be taken by the heads of state, who are going to be like the commanders-in-chief of this operation.
ECOWAS defense chiefs say the bloc is committed to finding first and foremost a diplomatic solution to the crisis in Niger. Yet restoring peace and order to the troubled nation will not exclude the use of force if worst comes to worst, as they underscored.
Military is not our option of choice. It is the last resort. We want diplomacy to work. And we want this message clearly transmitted to the leaders of the junta in Niger, that we are giving them every opportunity to reverse what they have done and to return the country to constitutional order.
By giving windows of opportunity for those who have erred to come back home, democracy is what we need, and democracy is what we stand for.
Aiming to restore democracy, Western powers led by France are pressing to accelerate ECOWAS military intervention. For Niger citizens, however, this is just a pretext and another scenario to rather preserve Western interests in the country.
On Friday, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken announced the cessation of some foreign aid programs benefiting the government of Niger. However, the U.S. will continue to provide humanitarian and food aid to the country. Blinken stated that future U.S. assistance to Niger's government hinges on democratic governance and respect for the constitutional system. He emphasized that the U.S. remains committed to supporting the people of Niger to safeguard their hard-earned democracy.
As we have made clear since the outset of this situation, the provision of U.S. assistance of the government of Niger depends on democratic governance and respect for constitutional order. We remain committed to supporting the people of Niger to help them preserve their hard-earned democracy, and we reiterated our call for the immediate restoration of Niger's democratically elected government. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue to conduct the special military operation on the Kupiansk axis. The Novoselivsky settlement of the Luhansk People's Republic was liberated due to competent and professional actions of units of the Western group of troops. Moreover, in the course of offensive on a wide front, the stormtroops improved the position on the front line in the areas of the settlements of Vilchani and Pershotravini in the Kharkov region.
The United Nations has initiated the transfer of the first camps of the multi-dimensional integrated stabilization mission in Mali, MINUSMA, to the Bamako authorities. This move is part of the UN's planned gradual, safe and orderly withdrawal of the MINUSMA mission from Mali. The entire withdrawal process is scheduled to be completed by the end of this year.
Emphasized the importance of coordination between MINUSMA and the Malian authorities to ensure a safe and orderly withdrawal, and the need to adapt in the face of unforeseen challenges and a short withdrawal timeline. Meanwhile, the mission reports that the first of 12 camps, the Ogasugu Temporary Operating Base, has been handed over to local authorities, and uniformed personnel are continuing to depart from the regions to larger bases as part of the withdrawal process.
In other news, the Tunisian Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a statement vehemently rejecting what it termed as fallacies and rumors that are part of malicious campaigns supported by undisclosed parties aimed at fueling tensions and undermining Tunisia's efforts in providing protection, support and care for irregular migrants. Tunisia reaffirmed its commitment to protect its borders and not be a transit or settlement destination for irregular migrants. The country also emphasized its compliance with international agreements and humanitarian law. Algerian energy company Sonatrach has resumed its operations in Libya after a suspension lasting for 6 years due to the country's security challenges. The Libyan National Oil Corporation confirmed that Sonatrach lifted the force majeure on its activities and received official notification to resume exploration and fulfill contractual obligations in the Ghadam's Basin area. This marks the second time Sonatrach has suspended and resumed its activity in Libya. It initially stopped operations in 2011, resumed in 2012, and halted again in 2015 due to security concerns. And in the same context, and besides Sonatrach, the Italian company Eni and the British company BP have also lifted the force majeure on their activities in Libya. This coordinated move is expected to help Tripoli increase its crude oil production to 2 million barrels per day, supporting international efforts to resolve the crisis through political means and facilitating comprehensive and fair elections at the earliest opportunity. On Saturday, large Palestinians marched in the funeral of 19-year-old martyr Qusay Jamal Matan, who died by settlers' shot. The funeral procession started from the Palestine Medical Complex and proceeded to his final resting place in the village of Burqa, east of Ramallah. Mourners chanted slogans denouncing the crimes committed by the occupation against Palestinians as they walked through the village streets. In related news, since the beginning of the current year, 37 Palestinian children have been killed by the Zionist occupation forces. According to the Palestinian news agency, Ayed Abu Qutaish, the director of the International Accountability Program in Defense for Children, reported that 31 children were killed in the West Bank and 6 others in the Gaza Strip by the occupation forces during this period. Additionally, 160 Palestinian children remain in detention, 20 of them under administrative detention. On Saturday, the Lebanese army refuted rumors of planning a military operation in Ain al-Hilwa, the largest Palestinian refugee camp in Lebanon. The army command denied the information circulating on social media, stating that it's closely monitoring the security situation in the camp. A Russian tanker was damaged in a Ukrainian drone attack in the Black Sea, the second such strike in 24 hours, in the latest sign of Kiev's growing focus on naval warfare. Former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan was arrested by the police in Lahore after being sentenced to 3 years in prison for illicit gain. The court found him guilty of illegal selling gifts granted to the state during his tenure as Prime Minister from 2018 to 2022. For the second consecutive month, the world is facing a surge in extreme weather events. Torrential floods have devastated several countries in Southeast Asia, causing dozens of fatalities in China. In Europe, the climate is unpredictable, with heavy rains in the central regions and wildfires in the west. At the same time, Latin America is experiencing an extraordinary heat wave, unprecedented in almost a century, even during the winter season. For more news making headlines around the globe, here's the news in brief by Salman Asib.
Violent clashes renewed between the Sudanese army and the rapid support forces in the south of the Sudanese capital Khartoum, where all kinds of heavy weapons were used in conjunction with the launch of intense artillery bombardment in the neighborhoods of Mamora. Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations revealed that wheat prices rose for the first time in 9 months due to the non-renewal of the agreement that would allow Ukraine shipping the grain to the world. The official Iranian news agency reported that Iran has provided a Revolutionary Guards Navy with unmanned aircraft and missiles with a range of up to 1,000 kilometers, while its commander confirmed that the new missiles have better accuracy and a longer range. During a speech on the occasion of the anniversary of the founding of the National Guard in Venezuela, The Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro accused former US President Donald Trump of being behind the assassination of the former Colombian President Juan Manuel Santos on August 4, 2018. Heavy hailstorm that went up to 30 centimeters surprised the southern German city Reutlingen. Traffic was temporarily interrupted, and some locals took their means to free sidewalks and garages.
And before we wrap up, here is a reminder of the top stories on the national scene. Algerian President Abdelmajid Tebboune led the National Army Day anniversary ceremony at the National Army Club in Bnimsus, Algiers. The event honored retired army personnel from the National Liberation Army, families of martyrs who died in the line of duty, and veterans injured in the fight against terrorism.
السيد الفريق أول قائد الحرس الجمهوري فهنيئا للجزائر ولشعبها ولجيشها بهذا اليوم الكرام. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
And on the same occasion, Algerian Army Chief of Staff Army General Saïd Griha delivered a speech during the event expressing gratitude to the Algerian people for their support. He emphasized the Army's success in thwarting various plots against the country and reiterated the leadership's commitment to further enhance and modernize the defense capabilities of the armed forces. Let's listen.
The People's National Army has aborted through its vigilance and readiness, backed by the conscious Algerian people, all conspiracies aimed at destabilizing our country and striking its adherence and unity. The National Army has always been on the side of our proud people, who stood as a barrier and thwarted all malicious plans, no matter how diverse and multiplicity of methods and tools. I would like to confirm once again on this occasion that we are determined to continue the path of developing and modernizing our defense capabilities under the support and patronage of the President of the Republic, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, and the Minister of National Defense. Likewise, the People's National Army, the loyal descendant of the National Liberation Army, was and will remain the loyal servant of the people, the protector of the national sovereignty, and the preserver of its unity and adherence to it, fulfilling the mission of the righteous martyrs and adhering to its constitutional duties.
With this, we reach the end of our news program for tonight. For more, you can always visit our social media platforms. Until next time, take care.